the things that I really love about this movie is I love with the character Maxine that she's not your typical protagonist in a horror film. And I love that there's a moment that Maxine decides that she's going to take her destiny in her own hands and she's going to save herself. And I want to know for all of you, either personally or professionally in your career, what was kind of that moment for you where you had to decide, like, I have to save myself. I got to bet on myself if I'm going to follow my dreams.
Wow. Well, okay. That I grew up like very much kind of not in the industry. I grew up to a family of like Christian pastors, and like no one is into the arts like at all. And we moved to Ghana when I was really young, and then came back to California when I was in my teens, and I moved to LA to go to college. But it was really kind of hard because no one could relate to like wanting to be an artist, and like I come from like a really hardworking immigrant family. They're like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, like don't be an artist. You're gonna be broke your whole life. And I think I realized at some point that like I had to really just kind of follow the muse and trust that the intuition that I had that like I was meant to be in the arts was going to be the thing that would save me. And I moved to Los Angeles and like went to UCLA and studied poetry and just started like playing bars. And I think like weirdly playing bars in LA like kind of saved me.
Hey, how about you?
Well, I moved to New York in 1976, and 1976 was a really fun time to, be a 17, 18-year-old. Started working in bars and started to get, do everything that came with the 70s and with the bar scene and all that kind of stuff. And I remember once waking up or not waking up and missing an audition and saying to myself, dude, you got to make some choices here. Like, do you want to have this thing that you decided that you want to do, that you've been thinking about ever since you were a little boy, or you want to, go out and get high? And so even then, I mean, I kept getting high, but even then, I made the decision that I needed to like kind of prioritize and make sure that the pursuit of employment in the arts was at the top of the list over the other things that were also on the list.
Like getting high.
Yeah, right.
For me, it was probably the transition I made from going from musical comedy into straight drama. It was a conscious decision. I had known Ben Vereen, and I'd been on the Broadway stage doing 13 Broadway musicals, and I went to see Pippin, I went to see Godspell, all these Broadway musicals, and Pearly Victorious, the original one, and I looked around, and African Americans were sort of the entertainment. And I was good at it, and I thought I could stay there for all my life. But what do I really want? I want to affect a larger audience, and I want to be a dramatic actor, as well as. So I stopped doing musical comedy work, and I started to pursue dramatic acting. So that was a time where I took the bull by the horns and said, "You can control your destiny." It happened again when I started to realize that my conversation was about, will they let me do it? They won't let me do this, and I'm being put in a box playing, criminals, crooks, and thieves, and robbers, and all that, and I want to play lawyers and writers and politicians, and so I made another decision to stop playing. After I did a number of New York Undercovers and Law and Orders, to stop playing criminals, and something else would come to me. And so my career changed. And then it changed once again in 2007 when I decided that there are no theys, there's no one telling me I can't do what I want to do, so what is it? And I started to option books, and I started to figure out how to produce, and a longer process, right, where you have to convince people and have them believe in you that you can do something that you cultivate. And so that cultivation led me to my first film called Gospel Hill, where I got Sam Jackson to be in it. I directed, I produced it, Angela Bassett, Danny Glover, and I realized then that I had that acumen, I had that ability, and I've been looking for projects and optioning books ever since, and that's what I do. So what I'm do here today in this movie, I have another life where I go get this option, let's get this option. I have a deal going now with Stephen King to do, because I've been in this horror world, that I'm cultivating to make a story of his into a film. So, that's when I realized that I had control of my destiny if I wanted it.
I love that. Okay, you better work. Okay, you better list it out. Look, I'm so happy that all of you decided to bet on yourselves because I just love watching you on screen, and I just thought that you were beautiful in your first film.
No, thank you
I
so
just want to
much.
thank all of you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with me. It truly means a lot when you take time to speak with us, and I'm just sending nothing but love and life all your ways. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And you smell great.
You know I be trying to bathe, you know.
You definitely did today.